All right, let's talk Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals, who, there was a point when I was going to make this video and publish it right away because, wow, Kyler Murray, what a great performance. Things got off the rails, and this ended up not being a perfect Kyler Murray day, although I would still say it was a very good Kyler Murray day. So let's first start off with how the Cardinals got up by so much, what was going so well. We're going to talk about really the two key mistakes by the Cardinals offense late, and it really mainly just one by Kyler Murray towards the end that almost allowed the Cardinals to get back into it. Some other mistakes by the special teams and everything. But yeah, let's start off with the play you see on your screen. Going to be a zone blitz that the Carolina Panthers are in right here. When this play begins, watch the edge rusher. Watch number 3 here for the Carolina Panthers. He's doing what you're supposed to do when you play against Kyler Murray, right? Making sure that he does not blow containment, because Kyler Murray is so good at getting outside the pocket. There's pressure in the interior right here. Just make sure you don't give up containment. Doing a perfect job. And what does Kyler Murray do? Well, he runs by him anyway. I mean, that's just, what are you supposed to do, right? Boy, that's Princely, let's say Princey U, very difficult to say last name, did his best, but Kyler, now he's just throwing it down the field. Again, Kyler's always been a bit of a gunslinger. Just going to see if, hey, one-on-one matchup, Marvin Harrison Jr., let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get a splash play right here, and this ball gets there, and it's, the defender didn't get his head turned around. Yep, that's a penalty, and just because of that, you get inside the 5-yard line. I mean, that's just unreal stuff by Kyler Murray. It doesn't even count as yards, which, by the way, I've always felt as though that should count as like a play. A pass interference drawn should count as receiving yards for a receiver at the very least. But ultimately, it's, who cares? If you're watching film, you can actually evaluate these guys and know that it was a good play. There's a lot of this in the game where, Carolina, I don't think Panthers fans will be too upset when I say that maybe not the most talented roster here. They're doing their best to man up against, JC Horn's good, but they're doing their best to man up against these other Arizona players, and Arizona was just winning a lot. Here, when this play begins, this is going to be Trey McBride. Before I get there, though, look at how Kyler Murray's throwing this. He has a pretty clean pocket. He's just one of those players that it seems like he's more comfortable throwing off balance than on balance. He's been doing it for long enough that we can, it works. So you'll say it's fine. But watch as he off balance makes the throw. That's Trayvon Moehrig in coverage, trying to cover McBride, who they just paid a good chunk of money to bring him in. And again, tough to cover Trey McBride. Trey McBride able to win. So that's not a corner, a safety, but you get the idea. Secondary, not always doing their job in Carolina. This one, another one. I mean, again, covering Trey McBride, a lot easier said than done. But still, this is a play where it's zone coverage. McBride's going to be going over the middle right here. It's tough. He runs these routes really well. But when this play begins, I mean, it's not this tough. Look at how open this is. Okay, listen, I'm not going to crush the Carolina Panthers defense for getting beat by Trey McBride and Kyler Murray perfectly timing this throw, because that's what those guys do. They're really good at this. You'd ideally like to have someone at least somewhat in the area, but again, when you're playing a bad defense, what do? You take advantage of these soft spots, and that's exactly what the Cardinals were doing. Murray, of course, makes a nice throw. There was a nice tackle at the very least. A lot of defensive backs tackling, which isn't what you want for the Panthers on some of these plays, but ultimately, it's dominant stuff by the Cardinals. This play was another one where this is going to be, again, game situation. We have to go here. There's 9 seconds left and no timeouts for the Arizona Cardinals. They're up 10 points. You would debate, do you even try to throw one toward the end zone right here? For the Panthers, I mean, what else is going to happen? The Cardinals can't get tackled inbounds short of the end zone, or the game is over. So just have to defend the boundaries right here. Kyler Murray takes the snap. He's going to look down the field, and you see right here, I mean, this just can't happen, right? This is Michael Wilson, who's behind the defense. Really well ran route, and honestly, a great, quick trigger by Kyler Murray to get that throw off quickly. I mean, look at that beautiful throw and catch. But also, Carolina, what are we doing here? I mean, you have to know that that's not happening. So sorry, Cardinals fans, that your pro Kyler Murray video is getting turned into an anti-Cardinals defense video. It's a great play by Kyler Murray. It really is. And you saw great plays in this. But man, this Panthers defense making mistakes that you just can't let happen. Also heading over to this play, this one is 27-9. You're going to see, this is, again, classic Kyler Murray stuff. First, you're going to see him take the snap. Pressure comes right away, but he gets around that pressure. He's still looking to throw down the field at this point. He does take a glance up down the field, but nothing's really there yet, so he's going to try and still see if he can move. Watch him navigate that well, moves forward, jukes out another defender, gets to this spot. And at this point, it's just a foot race, and Kyler Murray's going to win a lot of foot races. Again, you're thinking, is he going to get an extra 5? Is he going to maybe get an extra 10? Well, watch him run forward, and he gets an extra 16 on that play. Just ridiculous stuff, right? And these are the plays that Kyler Murray can make that very few other players can make, and it's part of what makes him such a valuable quarterback. And I do think that he's had a very good season to start. In both of these games, Kyler's played really well through 3 quarters, and there's been 1 or 2 mistakes in the 4th quarter that hasn't quite allowed them to put these bad teams away. Heading over here, this was that key mistake here is, it was 27-3. It's now 27-9, but that's okay. 3rd down and 3. Ideally, you'd like to score a touchdown because that puts you up, instead of a field goal, which puts you up 21, that puts you up 4 scores, which really ices it. But even 3 points would still be helpful. Watch what happens. Kyler takes the snap. It's a 4-man rush, but it's kind of an exotic look with a linebacker going and then a defensive lineman going back in coverage. Ultimately, Kyler's going to do his thing, try and get outside the pocket. No issues here. Again, you kind of live by this and die by this. The positives are going to outweigh the negatives when you do something like this. But this is going to be a negative. Watch as Kyler Murray tries to make that throw while getting hit, and that's just not a smart decision. Again, I think part of it was, hey, we're up 1,000,000 points at this point. Let's just try and have some fun. Why not throw one down the field? But you can't play that way because you never know what can happen. Again, it took really a borderline miracle for the Panthers to get back in this game. The Panthers, followed. They had a touchdown drive before this interception. They had a touchdown drive after the interception. A 3-and-out by the Cardinals then resulted in another touchdown by the Panthers, and then they hit the onside kick. Ultimately, aren't able to win from there. They finally got a stop to win it. But it was definitely scary there for the Cardinals. But ultimately, again, the reason why they were up in the first place was because of the great stuff Kyler Murray did. You don't want to let your foot off the gas, and obviously, things look worse when you don't get the onside kick. You got to, do more drills than that, because in 2025, no excuse for not recovering an onside kick, if you're the team that they're kicking it to. However, as a whole, let's not get too down on how things ended. They still won a football game. It's the NFL. No game is a guaranteed win. And again, the good plays by the Cardinals were good plays, even if it was on the strength of a bad defense. But obviously, you have to also have the mindset of, they're playing the 49ers this upcoming Sunday. You're going to have to be better. They're playing the Seahawks after that. You're going to have to be better. You're playing the Titans. You're probably going to have to be better against that team as well. You made your mistakes against the 2 potentially worst teams in football, the Saints and the Panthers. Now you got to grow from it, and you have to be better if you're going to try and be a playoff team. That's what I think about all of this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.